During his career, Lionel Messi has won 10 La Ligas, 4 Champions Leagues, 7 Copa del Reys, 2 Liga 1 titles, 2 Copa Americas, and the World Cup, 2 individually, some of his honours, 8 Ballon d'Ors, 8 FIFA Player of the Years, 2 World Cup Golden Boots, and he scored just the 867 goals for club and country. Nobody leaves Messi out of their all-time 11, Troy, right?
I don't know, I might have a little chat with my friend here now and see what we think. What does Piers think?
Hi, Piers Morgan. Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. And that's one of the most biased intros I think I've ever heard in the history of British broadcasting. So congratulations.
That's all Shebahn. That wasn't me, mate. You know that.
Oh, the fangirling going on there. Absolutely disgraceful.
Piers, good morning. You've done your
morning.
all-time 11.
Yeah.
And surprise, surprise, no Lionel Messi.
Well, he's not. I mean, look, for all your fangirling, he's not even the best Argentinian of all time. I mean, Maradona is clearly a much better player, and the reason I'll say that is you read out a lot of stats. For where did Messi win all his stats? Really, win all his trophies? The meaningful ones he won only at one club, Barcelona. The moment he was out of his comfort zone, the moment he didn't have Xavi and Iniesta and Thierry Henry and Ronaldinho and Ronaldo around him and all these other superstars, which he had the entire time, he was never the same player. The big trophy stopped happening for him. And Maradona, by contrast, at the peak of his powers, went from Barcelona to Napoli, who had never won anything in Italy and have never won anything since. And he won the Serie A twice in 4 years, right, as well as winning a World Cup. So this idea that Messi is some godlike, untouchable number one figure, he's not even the best Argentinian footballer of all time.
Piers, I think these things are always great because it's always about opinion, right? It's always what you think. And then the best part about it is I was doing some research yesterday when I got sent this list, and I got a 16-year-old son who said he completely dismissed everything on your list because Messi wasn't on it. So it is all about opinions, isn't it?
Well, if you look at the team I chose, right, so I don't look. You can argue about the greatest goalkeeper of all time, but Gordon Banks, I think, was FIFA Player of the Year or Goalkeeper of the Year 6 consecutive years, right? This guy won a World Cup. He was an unbelievable goalkeeper. So look, there are other options for goalkeeper, and I would listen to arguments about that. But for me, Banks, when he made that save from Pelé in 1970, cemented his place as the greatest. I don't think many people in football would argue with Cafu and Roberto Carlos as the fullbacks, right? And you can argue about centre backs, but Troy, in all honesty, have there ever been better centre backs than Baresi and Maldini? I mean, possibly you could argue Beckenbauer more, John Terry,
you had Beckenbauer before, and you talked about.
Look, I would say this: my 11 is a movable feast, right?
Yeah.
It evolves over the years. This one, I decided to choose it specifically, assuming peak performance.
Yes.
So if you were choosing one for longevity, you might have some other selections. But when I went for peak performance, I thought, well, who's the best right winger I've ever seen? And I decided it was Cristiano Ronaldo, right at his peak, when he used to fly down, and he could play on either wing, but he was brilliant on the wing and brilliant when he went inside. Who's the best left winger I've ever seen? And actually, peak Ronaldinho, to me, in full flow, was the greatest left winger I've ever seen. And then who's the best centre forward ever? Well, Troy, you're a better guy than me to say, but most professionals I talk to say that R9 Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, was for the period of his peak performance, was the greatest centre forward. So there's just no room for Messi in my team. And then in the midfield, I've got Lothar Matthäus and Zinedine Zidane. Now again, people in the world of football, Matthäus won everything in the game, was a magnificently brilliant, strong, defensive and attacking midfield general, and Zidane was Zidane, the most graceful playmaker we've ever seen. You stick Maradona in behind R9, I mean, this team is unbeatable.
The only one bit I have let's say an area of contention actually isn't Messi. For me, it's the Roberto Carlos one, because I actually think if you're talking at the best, I think Ashley Cole was better than him at left back.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty well as near to sacrilege as I've ever heard you say.
No. Ashley Cole's so underrated. Genuinely
Ashley Cole,
so
listen,
underrated.
Ashley Cole was absolutely brilliant, right?
And you're talking at their peak powers.
Well, yeah, but you're talking to the wrong guy. If he left Arsenal over
Yeah, I know that. But I was thinking you're
week,
being biased. As you got onto Shebahn about being biased.
I actually do. To be honest, I do think if I've talked to Cristiano Ronaldo, I've talked to him about Ashley Cole, and he rated him very, very, very highly as a left back. There's some great battles. So I do think Ashley Cole would have a shot. But I just think with Roberto Carlos, you've got a brilliant defensive fullback and a brilliant attacking fullback all rolled into one. And he was one of the greatest free kick takers in history, and he played with such amazing flair. So
I'm going to push back on that though, Piers. I think he's got one of the most iconic free kicks. I don't think he's a good free kick taker.
All right, but interestingly to me, you're not arguing about Messi, and that's my point. Right?
No,
Messi's on my bench. Messi's on my bench. Don't get me wrong, but he's not. You're not arguing with my rationale for dropping Lionel.
No, I just think, Piers, you're so in love with Ronaldo, and you call me a fangirl. Your behaviour around Cristiano Ronaldo is enough to make me.
Hang on. I'm actually in love with both Ronaldos. Right? Yeah. But mainly because R9 started following me on Instagram last month out of nowhere, and I don't know what the best sex you guys have ever had in your life, but when I woke up to R9 following me on Instagram, that was the best sex I've ever had without actually having sex.
Oh, jeez, Louise.
How are you doing anyway, Piers?
I'm in love with both Ronaldos. But also, if you don't love Cristiano Ronaldo as a football fan, who do you love? Right? I mean, you read out all these statistics from Messi. Ronaldo's stats absolutely dwarf anything Messi's done. And where is Messi now? He's floundering around in a competition nobody cares about. Ronaldo has just won a European trophy for his country again. Right? At the age of 40, he scored, I think, in almost every one of the rounds of the competition, including the final. And, to me, as a role model, as a player who's played as a brilliant, electrifying winger and as a deadly centre forward, to be still doing this with the hunger he's got at 40 years old is absolutely incredible.
Yeah,
Piers, I've got two quick questions for you. One, is it case now for most people you're either Ronaldo or Messi? It's a bit like you're either like LeBron or you're Michael Jordan.
I think, look, you know what I think, honestly? I think it's Messi's obviously a fantastic player. There's no doubt about that. I do happen to genuinely think Maradona had the edge on him, if you're only assuming peak performance. Because I do think the Maradona that went to Napoli and did what he did there was something that 100%. Messi's never tested himself at doing. And Messi's never challenged himself. The other reason I put Cristiano ahead of Messi is that, unlike Messi, Ronaldo's done it in 5 countries now, right? And I think that he's tested himself again and again. He's never just taken the comfortable, easy route. And so that's why he edges it. But look, I think these things they're great talking points, aren't they? Your phone lines. I mean, look, people said that my favourite one yesterday, somebody said to me, nobody cares about your World 11, Piers Morgan. I just checked this morning, it said 4.6 million views. Right? So people do care, and they're going to be screaming at the radio now and shouting and raging. But just my takeaway from our debate is that you, Troy Deeney, did not quibble with me not picking Messi. And I think that's a significant moment.
No, thank you very much. And just last question for me. Will I be seeing you at Lord's again this year?
You will indeed, Troy, because we've had some monumental days at the cricket, and I very much look forward to having more with you. And just for any, obviously you've got lots of sports fans, but for any boxing fans, if you want to watch a great interview, I got a great interview with Canelo and Crawford, which is going to be the biggest fight of the year when they get it on in Vegas. It's on the Piers Morgan Uncensored YouTube channel, ripping up numbers as I speak, and has a very uncomfortable moment when I asked them both, could you kill me with your bare hands? And your listeners will be delighted to hear they both said they could do it with one punch, although Crawford said he'd rather like to choke me first and then kill me with one punch. So
Man of the people.
if that doesn't get talkSPORT listeners rampaging to my YouTube channel, nothing will.
Just very quickly, Piers, still no striker for Arsenal. How frustrating is that?
I just cannot deal with this. It's like, how have we not already done this deal? How have we not had this deal wrapped up in January, right? How is this still dragging on? Every day we just don't have and I keep reading we're penny pinching. We're penny pinching for Sesko. We're penny pinching for Gokorich and all these other guys. I don't know who the perfect striker for Arsenal, as I've said many times, would be Alexander Isak. Yeah. And I don't think we can get in because they got into Champions League, and why would they sell? They got all the money in the world. But if we can't get in, time, is Osman available? Right, he's a proper world-class striker. Can we not break the bank for Sesko? Is he worth it? I think he probably is. He's 22. He looks strong. He looks powerful. He's got an amazing shot. He's quick. We need somebody who is going to lead that line for us. And I've been saying this for ever since we kicked out Aubameyang, which I thought was the wrong decision at the time. And I think I've been vindicated in one way. We have not replaced him with a proper striker. Kai Havertz is a very good footballer. So is Gabriel Jesus. But there is a reason that Manchester City let Jesus go. And there is a reason that Chelsea let Kai Havertz go. And it's because they know they're never going to be 25 goals a season Premier League trophy winners. And I think we have to make a statement. And the fact that Arsenal have not already got this, look at Liverpool. They win the league at a canter. What do? They're going to spend 115 million on this German wonder kid, right, from Germany. That is what you do when you are a top club. And we are just once again behaving like a bridesmaid at a wedding. Arteta, get your checkbook out, son.
Piers, one more question on this. Is Arteta in danger of becoming Arsene Wenger, where he's becoming a little bit too stubborn and wanting to do it his way as opposed to getting the striker done?
Yes, and I say that as somebody that, after 2 years of Arteta, I wanted him out because he'd lost 13 league games a season in his first 2 seasons. Most Arsenal managers wouldn't have survived that. He proved me wrong. He became a really good manager. But we've come second 3 times, albeit I think when the Manchester City charges turn into convictions, we'll get 2 of those league. We'll get 2 of those league titles back. So it could be we've got 2 league titles by the end of the month. But I do think he's being stubborn about this. I do think he's got it in his head that we do not need an out-and-out striker, and it's not about the number of goals we score. Arsenal makes so many chances, and we've got so many attacking players. Of course, we're going to score lots of goals. What it's about is in those big games, the crucial matches. Against PSG this year, against Bayern last year, Champions League. Both times, loads of chances. We didn't take them, and that is when you need a proper lethal finisher. And final point. You know who I tried to get that Arsenal rejected? I got Cristiano Ronaldo to agree to come to Arsenal. He was going to do it if they did the deal right. Arsenal didn't want to know.
And this is why Messi isn't in his World 11.
Well, nobody can tell me that if Arsenal had Cristiano leading the line the last 3 seasons, we wouldn't have won at least 1 league title, probably 2. Nobody can tell me that.
Okay, Piers Morgan, as ever, thank you so much for coming on the show.
See you soon, bud.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.